Canadians are tired of governments committing to weak targets and then missing them again and again and again. They want action now, but this government keeps putting it off. Their new climate bill, well, a small step in the right direction, just isn't good enough. The world's top scientists have told us we are running out of time. And the next decade will be the most critical. So why did the government leave out the 2025 milestone target? Why is the government trying to avoid real accountability for a full decade, for the most critical 10 years?
The Honourable Minister.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this Act has strong accountability and transparency provisions that include a legally binding process for this government to set and achieve climate plans every 5 years between 2030 and 2050. Madam Speaker, the very structure of the Paris Agreement is based on the year 2030. As the Honourable Member will know, is the BC plan, her province, and Quebec's plan, and those around the world. Madam Speaker, we will meet those targets on our path to net zero by 2050.
The Honourable Member for Sandwich Gulf Islands.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The government has failed to meet the warnings of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. The Climate Accountability Act fails utterly to heed the warning that we have to cut emissions roughly in half by 2030 in order to keep the window open of holding to 1.5 degrees Celsius. By the time the Climate Accountability Act asks anyone to be accountable, that window could have closed forever. Will the government improve this act such that it meets the warnings of science while there's still time, for God's sakes?
The Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Honourable Member for her passion and commitment to this issue. And Madam Speaker, we are committed to transparency and accountability in this legislation that will help businesses and people know that they can count on Canada to be a great place to invest. It also sets very clear goals that Canadians expect us to deliver on, and they will hold our government and future governments to account if we don't. I'll remind the Honourable Member it was the Canadian electorate that ultimately held the Conservatives to account in 2015 and 2019 on their hostility to climate action. Be assured, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, we will follow through on this important net zero commitment.
And that brings us to the end of question period on this beautiful week. Point of order, the Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Madam Speaker, I do want to raise a point of order. As the Chair has ruled, the Speaker has ruled repeatedly over the years, it is just as inappropriate to say something indirectly as if it is inappropriate to say it directly. And earlier in question period at the very beginning, the member for New Westminster Burnaby, I believe, used an expression that everyone in the room knew was an inappropriate sentiment, and was using indirect language to say what he could not say directly. And I just want to raise that to the attention that there are still some of us who have sensibilities about certain words, and we think that, the Speaker should be aware of that. Thank you.
Good point.
The Honourable Member for New Westminster Burnaby is also raising on a point of order.
No, just in response, Madam Speaker, of course, if you consult Hansard, you will see many uses of that particular term, which is used in a less derogatory way than the term that was actually used by the Parliamentary Secretary for Children and Families in his Twitter this morning.
I will make sure that we relook at the blues to look at the exact language that was used, and we'll come back to the House should I need to do that. Point of order, the Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The member for Saanich Gulf Island asked an extremely good question, and she was very emotional when she asked it. Now, I'm at home in my riding of Oakville North Burlington, but it appeared to me that when the camera went back to the chamber that there was an awful lot of laughter at the fact that she was emotional about climate change. And I think that's extremely inappropriate, and I think she's a very passionate member of the House, and I don't think that her question should be treated lightly. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I greatly appreciate the the information and the clarification that the honourable member and support that the honourable member is providing at this point. I do want to remind all members that whenever someone is delivering a speech in the House or making a statement or asking a question, that there should be respect on all sides of the House for that question. We may not be in agreement or not, or we may be in agreement. However, I think that it's important to allow people to have that, to ask the question and not be responsive unless you are the person that needs to respond to that question.